Hi, I'm Julie Bieland, and I'm a sensitivity expert. And I wanted to give you guys some information about the trait of high sensitivity. It's found in 20% of the population, so 1 out of 5 of us. That means there's about 1.4 billion of us in the world. And it's such an important trait to understand about yourself. It's scientifically proven, it's not a disorder. And it is actually called sensory processing sensitivity. So we happen to be kind of sensitive in the areas of, if you think about the 5 senses, there's a spectrum sensitivity. So some of us score quite high. If you're interested in taking my sensitivity quiz to see how you score, you can find that at sensitiveconnection.com. And I have tons of resources for you as well. So this trait evolved as a survival strategy of the population. And it is such an interesting thing to learn about, that we have these extra gifts that are part of our experience. We have more activation in the insula part of our brain that allows us to have more information, more of the seat of consciousness. We're incredibly conscious. And such a kind, loving group of people in the world. Some of the kindest people you know are probably people that have this trait. It's found equally in gender. And about 70% of us are introverts and about 30% are extroverts. And wow, there's so much I want to teach you guys. I have a lot of information on my website about it. I found that there are 3 steps to really truly thriving in the world as a sensitive person, because we tend to be quite challenged because our nervous system is more sensitive, and our society is not really set up for a sensitive nervous system. So we tend to be bogged down and challenged by a lot of the sensitivities. And you have so many gifts that come with this. So if you can learn how to lift off that layer of overwhelm, then you get to access all those amazing gifts that come with this trait, because you're so valuable and needed in the world. So the first step is to really learn everything you can about this trait. There's so much to teach you. I really recommend subscribing to my newsletter at hspblog.com. HSP stands for highly sensitive person. And many of you who may have already heard of this trait in that form. So we say HSP for short. And then the second step is to connect and spend time with other sensitive people. It's really important to do that because it normalizes and validates our experience in the world. And I've created an online sensitive empowerment community that is incredible. And we have the most wonderful group of people in that community. It's off of social media, so there's no advertisements. And it's really full of people who are committed to growth and empowerment. And every week I give trainings in the community, live events. We bring in guest speakers that are all sensitive people themselves, and we teach you how to navigate the world as a sensitive person, how to move out of survival mode and into thriving. Some of the most talented people in the world are actually sensitive people who have this trait. It's kind of like having a superpower. And really the goal and my mission is to help you learn how to regulate your sensitive nervous system and to live in balance so that you can really thrive and bring out those gifts in the world, because I know that's what happens when you are thriving. A lot of sensitive people struggle with anxiety, depression, panic attacks. And there is so much you can do. I do a lot of brain training techniques that work really well for sensitive people, that train the brain so that you are not so challenged by the sensitivities and you're able to live your life more fully, to improve your health, improve your sleep, all of it. So if you want to check out, my website has tons of resources for you. Go to sensitiveconnection.com. I really recommend that third thing is using tools that support yourself and train your brain how to reduce your stress and your anxiety and really thrive in the world. And you can find all of that. I have a wonderful course called Brain Training for the Highly Sensitive Person. It's techniques to reduce anxiety and overwhelming emotions, and that's something I really recommend. It is incredible. In 8 weeks, we train our brain, and this is brain training that lasts a lifetime to use certain techniques. I'll give you a quick technique just to leave us with, and that is a breath training technique. So we breathe in for the count of 4, you hold it for 2, and you exhale for 7. You do that 5 to 7 times. This breath technique reduces your heart rate. It sends a signal to your brain that you're okay. So we don't want the brain to send out stress signals like adrenaline. If you're noticing your heart racing because you're nervous or anxious, your brain has received a signal that it thinks you're in danger. So it's setting you up to fight or run. We have more activation in the amygdala of our brain too. So that's why that signal sometimes gets sent out too often. I know it used to for me too. Anxiety used to be a problem for me, and depression. And I know a lot of people in this population have that, but there's so much you can do. And I wouldn't be able to do any of the things that I do in the world as a sensitivity expert, really helping you guys, if I hadn't have learned these techniques myself. And they're really proven to work. They're very effective. A breath technique like that can reduce your heart rate right away. And it's so fascinating because if your brain thinks that you're in danger, and it might even think something that's just causing you a lot of stress is something that's dangerous, it thinks that a lion is going to attack you. So it sends out those signals to prep you. It might send the oxygen into your muscles, for example, and that creates the tightening in the muscles. And then we start with those shallow breaths when we start getting stressed. So if you're doing those long exhales like that, the count of 7 exhale, long and slow, you immediately send a signal to your brain, I'm okay. Don't send out those stress signals. And when you get good at this, you can actually prevent the release of adrenaline when you don't want it to be released. Like, say you've got a meeting that you have to do, or a presentation you have to do, or you're visiting family that stresses you out, or something like that. This technique is really helpful for that. So I have so many things to teach you that work well to help you be balanced in the world. And I encourage you to check out my website, sensitiveconnection.com. You can take a free sensitivity quiz. Come back and share what your score was. I'd love to hear from you. And sign up for the newsletter to get the techniques and information in your inbox every day. Or not every day, but every week. But I do train every day in my sensitive empowerment community, and I invite you to join me there. It's just an incredible space. So again, you can find everything that you need at sensitiveconnection.com. I hope you're taking really good care of your beautiful, sensitive self, and know that you are very much needed in the world and you are very valuable. So take care until next time. Bye, everybody.